Hello everyone, I'm Takashi Ito from Aoyama Gakuin University. Now, I'd like to talk about experiments on effects of behaviors in the rest time between learning. This is the outline of my presentation. First, I'd like to talk about background and objectives of this study. Next, I will introduce resting behavior, and I will show results of experiments and questionnaire. Finally, I'd like to talk about the conclusion. In recent years, along with the spread of personal computers and the internet, e-learning systems with which students study on his or her own initiative have become widespread. Actually, e-learning systems have begun to spread in university lectures and company training. Advantages of e-learning systems doesn't choose the place and the time, and they are easy to manage learning data and the low cost. But e-learning systems have disadvantages. E-learning systems cannot learn subjects with particular skills, and they are difficult to maintain the concentration and the learning well. Thus, we had proposed system to solve the problem that e-learning systems are difficult to maintain the concentration and the learning well. The first one, a system with a function to praise and scold students during learning, had been proposed. The second one, a system with Kinect to measure the concentration of users and learning states during learning, had been proposed. In this study, we solved that problem with a different approach. We focused on breaks during the work. Taking breaks is an important factor to work efficiently. For example, breaks are written as follows in guidelines for workers using Visual Display Terminals (VDT). Limit the time spent continuously working on a VDT to 1 hour or less, and take a 10 to 15 minute break between each session working on a VDT. It was shown that work performance is improved by taking such break. Thus, we focus on a break during study and investigate how do actions during breaks affect the concentration of learners and the learning performance. We employ 5 actions as follows: listening to music, reading a book, doing nothing, playing a flying tapping game, and playing a dog care game. In addition, we use a mathematical calculation problem for experiments. I will explain each break action. The first one is listening to music. In this action, a user listens to his favorite music, preferred by himself. The second one is reading a book. In this action, a user reads his favorite book, preferred by himself. The third one is doing nothing. In this action, a user does nothing to stay calm. The fourth one is a fly tapping game. In this action, a user plays a fly tapping game. This figure is an example of the game screen. In this game, a three-dimensional position device is used as an input device. The user can aim a fly by moving the controller and shoot a bullet by shaking it. Kind of this game is shooting game. The user tries to shoot as many flies and to aim a high score. As features, the user can refresh his mood by active actions moving his body. The fifth one is a dog care game. In this action, a user plays the dog care game. This figure is an example of the game screen. At the top of the screen, the dog's hunger and mood are shown. The user can act of scolding, calling, giving food, and pleasing to the dog. Kind of this game is simulation game. The user takes care of a dog. The user tries to keep the dog in good by giving food, pleasing to the dog, etc. As a feature, the user can relax his feelings with a non-active operation. We conduct experiments using these actions. In experiments, 30 students from our university served as participants. They were divided into 5 groups, and each group performed one of the resting behaviors during break times. G1 is listening to music. G2 is reading a book. G3 is doing nothing. G4 is playing a fly tapping game. And G5 is playing a dog care game. The participants were assigned to groups on the basis of the results of preliminary experiments, so that each group would be roughly equal in terms of computational ability. This figure shows an example mathematical calculation problem. In this mathematical calculation problem, a randomly generated basic arithmetic operations is used. A user selects the answer that applies to a blank from the 4 choices. The bar displayed below shows the remaining time. In this experiment, participants are required answering accurately many problems within the time limit. In addition, this experiment consists of 3 work sessions and 2 breaks between sessions. The work sessions lasted 15 minutes and the breaks lasted 3 minutes. This figure shows average correct answer rates and the average answering time of the 5 groups for the 3 work sessions. The vertical axis is average correct answer rates, and the horizontal axis is the average answering time. We can see from this figure that the answering time and the correct answer rate of group 4 that did a flying tapping game degrade most, and that degradation of those of group 3 that did nothing is least. A fly tapping game is one that makes the user move his arm frequently, and it makes the user tired. The correct answer rate of group 2 that reads a book did not decrease much, but the answering time increased a lot. The correct answer rate of group 1 listening to music changes much. The break time is only 3 minutes, and it is too short to finish one song, which did not make the user refresh. The correct answer rate of group 2 with a dog care game did not degrade, while the answering time from session 2 to 3 increased. After the experiment, we asked about states of 3 work and effect of actions of a break with questionnaire. The participants select responses on a 5-point scale. Here, selecting 5 is strongly agree. Selecting 1 is strongly disagree. This table shows the evaluation items and the average scores for 5 groups about effect of actions of a break. We can see from this table that the highest score is 4.5 for items 5 and 6 of group 1. Listening to music, user felt that they are refreshed and the concentration improved more than other listening action, so the performance degraded. They felt that 3-minute break time was too short. Doing nothing group and a dog care group answered high score for items 5 to 8. This table shows the evaluation items and the average scores for 5 groups about states of 3 work. The scores of doing nothing group for items 1 to 3 increase as the session proceeds, and 3 minutes is appropriate for the break time. The scores of a flying tapping game group for items 1 to 3 decreased. There are comments saying that he was tired and the game didn't refresh him. We investigated the effect of resting behaviors during study breaks on the will to learn, and we found that the doing nothing and listening to music behaviors refreshed the participants effectively for a simple work task. In our future work, we experiment with more participants, other resting behaviors, and various resting times. Thank you for your attention.